Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Corinne.
And we're out on another windy night. Where are we tonight, Corinne?
Tonight we're at Cathedral Gorge State Park in Nevada, not very far from Caliente.
And we're going to have a fun evening this evening. We've got a little bit of an interesting project tonight. Instead of doing your sort of typical landscape shots, in Cathedral Gorge there are these series of long, thin, cave-like structures, slot canyon type structures. And what we're going to do tonight is use the reflective light to photograph the insides of the canyons just as golden hour is coming on. And then later on, what are we going to do?
We're planning to do some star photography tonight.
Yep, we're going to use the same we're going to use a set of slot canyons to see if we can shoot the Milky Way shining in, or at least looking out on the Milky Way from inside the slot canyons. So we're kind of hoping that that might actually work.
It's going to be tricky. It takes careful alignment. We've been consulting photo pills on our smartphone. We think we've got it nailed down, but we shall see.
Yep, it'll be one of those experiments that you'll see almost sooner than we will see. So last night we came out to do both some landscape photographs and some Milky Way photographs. This is one of the locations that we were at for the Milky Way photographs, and actually was one of the locations we were at for the sunset location. Now, last night we had a few white puffy clouds in the skies that managed to disappear about sunset. So we got a few shots of white puffy clouds and golden hour, and we'll show you those now. We also, as I said, use this area for our night photography as our first shot. And mine didn't actually work out all that well here. Corinne had a few lovely shots, which we'll also show as well. Mostly I was using a new camera, and I managed to screw up some of the focus and things of that sort as I was getting used to the camera. So Corinne had the better shots here, and we'll show you those now, as well as some of the landscape shots. One of the really interesting things about Cathedral Gorge State Park are these slot canyons. They are absolutely beautiful, and during the daytime are really interesting to walk through. The sides are often pitted and lined. The rocks are often some very interesting pink, brown to gray kind of colors. We like to look through these because they also create really interesting opportunities for golden hour and sunset shots, and also night shots where the slot canyon, top of the slot canyon, actually forms a bit of a interesting composition with the stars lighting up the actual canyon itself. So we spent a lot of time in these. And as you can see now, I'm showing the top here. It's a little overexposed, but those make great night shots. So the canyons are really quite beautiful, and they have this kind of beautiful glow at the top. but it's a real challenge to shoot. Mostly you have to do it handheld because there's just not room for you, a camera, and a tripod. So we're doing this handheld, which means that ISO's up. And I'm shooting ISO anywhere between 200 and 10,000, depending on how dark the cavern is. And really trying to center in on some really interesting lines leading up to the light. That's kind of the focus of the project. And we're having some success and maybe a few that are not quite so successful. So we'll just have to keep trying and see what we get. So Corinne's just worked her way around the corner here, and she's now trying to shoot in this tube. As you can see, we go up the tube here.
So I'm fairly deep into one of the slot canyons that are here in the gorge. And as I move toward the front, you'll start to see the light brighten. And right on that wall, where it's getting some nice reflected light, that's kind of the glow that I want to try and capture. It's not too overblown because there's no direct sunlight on it, but it's a nice reflected light. So I'm trying to capture something that's interesting in composition and also has a real warm color to it.
Although it's a little overexposed out there, we're going to use this for our shot of the Milky Way tonight. We're going to be back here in the cave, and I'll just pan around, show you that we are indeed back in the slot canyon. And hopefully this is going to work. Part of the reason we've chosen this one is it's got a little bit of room to work, and we'll be able to put some lights in here that'll bounce light all over the place. So that we're hoping that'll just light it up just enough to make this really nice. So once we picked this location, we checked it several times with photo pills, making sure that the Milky Way would line up with the entrance. And then after we got back that evening, we tried it again just to make sure that we'd have the timing down and the exact location down for the shot. Hi, folks.
Well, it's about a half hour after sunset and it's getting dark fast. We've come back to one of the slot canyons here, and we're going to see what we can do in terms of lining up the Milky Way with the entrance of the slot canyon. So good luck to us.
Yeah, you'll probably see the results about the same time we do. So it's going to be a good deal of work here tonight, and hopefully it's successful. Okay, well, as you can see from behind me here, it's getting very, very dark. So I'm going to try to describe what I've got set up here, and it may or may not work. I may have to try this a couple times. So right behind me, you can't see it probably very well. I have my camera sitting from here, just right behind me here. It's focused out in basically behind you, going out that way. I'm using a little reflected light onto the opening so that I can create sort of a light up the two edges of the slot canyon while I'm waiting for the stars coming up. And I've got everything all focused up and see if we can make this work. So here's my camera, and the light turned way up right at the moment, and that's the slot that we're out shooting. And eventually the Milky Way will come right into this slot here. That's kind of what we're waiting for. Right now I'm actually lighting it directly, but when we actually shoot through there, we'll turn the light so that it is facing the wall, and we get sort of reflected light. That'll reduce the amount of light hitting the wall and really help the exposure. The camera is currently on 16 millimeters. It's f2.8. It's probably going to be about an 8-second shot. And I've got my white balance turned down to about 4,000. These rocks in that look really quite yellow if you have your white balance up too high. So got that turned down, and now it's just really a waiting game. So here's the actual photograph as it's turning out. You can see the Milky Way in the middle and the two sidewalls. You'll also notice the sidewalls can be a little tiny bit soft, and that's just because I can't get both the stars and the sidewalls in focus at the same time. May try to do a composite. We'll just have to see if I can get them sharp enough. Well, that was a lot of fun tonight. Things seem to go a lot better than they did last night. Of course, we didn't have nearly as much wind, so that really made it a much more pleasant evening.
We tried some interesting stuff. We'll have to wait and see if it turns out.
Yeah, we were trying some experimental shots tonight. They're always fun to do. They really look cool on the back of the camera, but we'll just have to see if they actually turn out at all.
There's a weird green light down in the Caliente area towards the airport that kind of messes up the pictures, and we're trying to work around it and minimize it, and I don't know if that was accomplished.
Yeah, I wasn't so worried about the green light. The challenge was trying to get the Milky Way lined up, and as always when you're photographing the core, it's a fairly wide area of stars, really dense stars, and just getting that perfectly lined up took a lot of fiddling.
So we hope it turns out. We'll just have to see.
Well, you'll probably see before we have. So I hope you enjoy the video, and we'll talk to you later. Well, folks, as we listen to the coyotes howling in the background, it's time to wrap this video up. We sure do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see more of our videos, please consider subscribing. We're getting lots of views, but a lot of you viewers are not subscribed.
Yeah, we sure appreciate our subscribers, and we really appreciate when you help us out that way. As always, we love hearing from you, so if you have a thought, an idea, or a question, don't hesitate to leave it in the area down below. We are very good at responding, and we'll get back to you really quickly.
And don't forget to hit that notification bell if you want to know when our new videos are released.
And until next time,
bye for now.
Bye for now.